Hello, it's a lovely good evening. Welcome to Camnet Television News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo to present. Our top stories in the news tonight: 4 surviving NSAMA accident victims arrive in LUSAKA. SALAMA Park murder accused committed to the LUSAKA High Court. LUSAKA Water and Sanitation Company to increase water rationing with the onset of the hot season. In international news, Equatorial Guinea repeals the death penalty law. And in sports news, South Africa-based CHIPOLOPOLO stars KABWE and NSABATA link up with their squad members.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti for your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Water is life. Each drop counts, and each must be cherished. Our tried and tested product meets all international standards. With our smart drip technology, we aim to deliver precision irrigation designed to reduce blockage and wastage, ensuring a high yield. RenGlow, your smart irrigation partner.
Hello again, the news in detail. Some Ngwerere residents in Chongo district have alleged that the local authority in the area has been illegally allocating land to cadres who have now built on the road reserve. One of the affected residents has told Camnet News in an interview that the road reserve that leads to his residence has been built on and that he has nowhere to pass to access his premises, adding that the culprits say the local authority have given them title to the land. Meanwhile, Chongwe Town Clerk Damson Mukwato has expressed ignorance about the development, assuring the residents of looking into the matter urgently. More in this report.
Illegal land allocation in Zambia has continued to be the #1 catalyst of disasters whenever it is the rain season. The story is not different here in Lusaka's Ngwerere township of Chongwe district near Zamseed Farms, where residents have alleged that a named person has been illegally allocating land to people, among them Chinese nationals, who have now built on the road reserves, blocking the entrance to some of the residential plots. The sad part is that the said illegality has been backed by documents from the Chongwe Municipal Council and the Ministry of Lands, who have been issuing titles to the said land contradicting the documents that were given as far as 1989 when the said land was sold to the sitting tenants.
Some months back, I think 3 or 4 months back, we saw some people come in our land and they started subdividing land. So we were surprised. Then they showed us the site plan that they got in 2021. And yet that site plan is different from the one that we have, which we got in 1989. So now we want to know what the council is doing. Are they coming on the ground to see before they start allocating these plots?
Ndiye vatingenera makadzi vari furu vabwera vabwana mamotoka vabwana vinhu viri vonse vangatichita vababwera usiku kuma 20 hours dzabva vabwera kuma 05 vangenesa vantu mumaploti venangu apa vanabwera vatogurira mumba mwa nyumba tizankara bwanji vetizankara.
Others have also complained that they now have no access roads to their residence because the road reserves leading to their homes have been given away as residential plots.
To our displeasure, we find that somebody comes in front of my property with a title deed given from the Ministry of Lands. But when we investigate further to see the legality of the title deed, which is coming from the Ministry of Lands. We have seen some anomalies. So we had reported this issue to the council, where the recommendation came from for the creation of these plots.
The land audit on the ground so that they can see. Notatawe zakabwera bwanji swabwera swaonekera. Tufuna waona pa ground. Batu vadira marodu kukochokera kulibe tingati dabwa.
For Hawkins Sichinga, he has lived in this area for over 20 years and explains that the area gets flooded during the rain season due to lack of drainages, and says the illegal construction of these houses in front of the road reserve will worsen the situation.
Vakanso vakese pa ground, va planning department. Ni vanhu vavashitishanga ni vababura vakati babura ni uyu. Babura shitisha ni uyu. Mwali muishiva, tatua muishiva. Mkumbeni babura mwali mtatua muishiva. Nomba washitisha shani. Nga washitire ni wanani. Awa pele materi pandu pa kushita. Awe ne baploti. Bafure kuwa contacted.
This area that you are seeing is usually flooded in the rain season, and as a community we are trying to put up drainages. So where are we going to put them?
But when contacted for a comment, Chongwe Town Clerk says he is not aware of the said illegality because he is new in the office, but has promised to dispatch a team of inspectors to assess the situation.
Yeah, I'm very new, so I may not have more details about those issues. That's what I'm saying. I'll need to dispatch a team to verify that report.
The resident now wants the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development working with the Ministry of Land to send investigators to assess how the land meant for the road reserve was sold as residential plots. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
LUSAKA Water Supply and Sanitation Company Acting Manager for Public Relations and Marketing in Shamba Muzungu has warned that many areas in LUSAKA will face increased water rationing with the onset of the hot season due to reduced water levels. In an interview, Mr. Muzungu says the onus is therefore on residents to come up with water-conserving measures to cushion potential deficits, especially for those being supplied through boreholes. He further adds that the water utility company has restored water to over 100 residents of Ibex Kabulonga area after they were left to depend on water bowsers following the recent collapse of 2 boreholes supplying the area. More in this report.
Information from the Zambia Meteorology Department indicates that most parts of the country are headed for extreme temperatures of up to 35 degrees Celsius, a situation which the LUSAKA Water Supply and Sanitation Company says will lead to water rationing in some areas due to lowering water levels. Extreme weather conditions have continued to be a main concern due to climate change, which has negatively impacted many communities. Hence calls from stakeholders for urgent mitigative measures. LUSAKA Water Supply and Sanitation Company Acting Manager for Public Relations and Marketing Shamba Muzungu was speaking to Camnet News.
And so during the hot season, we expect that the yield will go down, but also we also experience erratic supply for our customers who are supplied using the boreholes. In order to manage the situation when we get into the hot season and there's reduced yield from our boreholes, we start rationing water supply in order to ensure that there's equitable distribution of water to all our customers on borehole. So during this season, our customers will experience some of that, but also I think we want to take this opportunity that as we get into the hot season, we need to ensure that we conserve water. We engage into practices which do not waste water.
He has also reviewed that the water utility company has restored water to slightly over 100 residents of Ibex Kabulonga area in LUSAKA who are being supplied through water bowsers after 2 boreholes supplying the area recently collapsed for unknown reasons.
Ibex is supplied by these 2 boreholes that we have here. These boreholes are called New Horizon boreholes, and they supply some parts of Ibex, including the areas which are near the American Embassy on the hill there. So these boreholes collapsed a few weeks ago, and that meant that we had lost the source for water supply for Ibex. And for some weeks, people of Ibex were not having water supply because of the failure of the boreholes. So Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company got on site, and we were doing some works to restore the life of these boreholes. And I'm happy now to report that we have since completed the works that we are doing.
Mr. Muzungu notes that providing all citizens with decent water services by 2030 will call for concerted efforts not only from government, but all concerned stakeholders, as many citizens are yet to be connected to these services. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A 19-year-old man of Lusaka's Salama Park, accused of murdering both his parents in cold blood, has been committed to the Lusaka High Court for summary trial proceedings. This is in a matter in which Ushimwe Mwakachea is facing 2 counts of murder contrary to Section 200 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. When the matter came up for committal, the court questioned the accused on why he misled it in the last session by claiming he was 18 years old instead of 19, following a confirmation by his aunt. More in this report.
A young man accused of being behind the gruesome murder of his parents earlier this year has been committed to the Lusaka High Court for a summary trial proceedings following the issuance of a certificate of committal by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution. 19-year-old Wushimwe Mwakachea of Lusaka Salama Park area is facing 2 counts of murder contrary to Section 200 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. The accused was questioned this morning, the 20th of September 2022, when he appeared before the Lusaka's Magistrate Court on why he misled the court in the last session by claiming that he was 18 years old of age instead of 19, following a confirmation by his aunt. His aunt, who appeared before Magistrate Jacqueline Gondwe this morning to confirm his age, told the court that according to his national registration card, the accused is 19 years old and not 18, as earlier indicated on the court's record. Following the issuance of the committal, Wushimwe Mwakachea will appear before the Lusaka High Court in the second criminal court session. According to a recent statement issued by the police, the 19-year-old on the 6th of August 2022 killed his 53-year-old father, Nathaniel Mwakachea, and his 52-year-old mother, Alfonsina Mwakachea. The accused, who is said to be the firstborn of the deceased, was said to have been in a confrontation with his parent as they were trying to take him to a rehabilitation center following claims that he was abusing drugs. But on the night of the 5th of August 2022, when they went to bed, the accused is said to have committed the alleged act. The bodies of the victims are alleged to have been found wrapped in a blanket and tied on each end with a wire. Miriam Kaemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Lusaka Magistrate Court has heard that Opposition Patriotic Front member of the Central Committee, Jeffrey Mwamba, received more than 70 million kwacha through his bank account from the Ministry of Finance for various transactions. Testifying in the case in which Mr. Mwamba is facing 24 corruption-related charges, Ida Kaluba, a banker, however, told the court during cross-examination that there was nothing illegal to the transfers of monies from the ministry to the accused. In this case, Mr. Mwamba is facing 4 counts of being in possession of property reasonably suspected to be proceeds of crime and conflict of interest involving millions of kwachas and thousands of dollars, respectively. More in this report.
Various witnesses have continued to testify in a case in which former Defense Minister Geoffrey Mwamba is facing 24 counts of corruption-related charges. Tuesday morning, the Lusaka's Magistrate Court, under the Specialized Economic Financial Crimes Court, heard that Mr. Mwamba, who is also Opposition Patriotic Front member of the Central Committee, received more than 70 million kwacha through his bank account from the Ministry of Finance for various transactions. Ida Kaluba, a banker, however, told Magistrate Stanford Ngobala during a cross-examination that there was nothing illegal to the transfers of the money from the ministry to the accused. In this case, Mr. Mwamba is facing 8 counts of conflict of interest, 1 count of money laundering, and 15 counts of possession of property suspected to be proceeds of crime, charges which he has denied before Magistrate Ngobola. According to the charges before court, the accused is alleged in the first to the 8th count to have between December 2012 and 2013 failed to disclose interest in writing relating to 8 contracts for the supply of shelter tents for the Zambia Army valued at more than $1 million and specialized watermanship equipment for the Zambia Army valued at more than $4 million, which were awarded to Cozon Global Limited, and the transaction affected the Ministry of Defense. In count 9, Mr. Mwamba is accused of money laundering involving $632,000 between the 1st of January 2020 and the 30th of October 2020. Allegations in count 10 to 24 are that the accused between January 2015 and August 2021 possessed more than $2 million suspected to be illegal gotten. By broadcast time, over 4 state witnesses had so far testified in the case. Trial continues in the matter. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The 4 surviving accident victims in the Kaputa and Sama road traffic accident in which 23 lives were lost have arrived for specialist treatment in Lusaka. The accident happened around 01 hours on the 19th of September 2022 when the driver of the light truck Kanta Lloyd Chimambala of Nsumbu village lost control of the vehicle and overturned as it was descending Chaushi Hill a few kilometers from Nsumbu. Authorities say the accident indicates that the UCZ members were returning from a special church gathering consistory conference, which was held at Munwa area within NSAMA district. The Road Transport and Safety Agency, RATSA, Monday morning recorded a fatal road traffic accident in NSAMA district of Northern Province involving a light truck Kanta killing 23 people, all congregants of United Church of Zambia UCZ in Nsumbu village, and 38 injured, including the driver. Minister of Health Sylvia Masebo Tuesday afternoon witnessed the arrival of the patients at Kenneth Kaunda ZAF Airport. She wished the patients a quick recovery and continued government support. Forum for African Traditional Authority of Zambia, FATAZA, says traditional leaders have a strong foundation in God, contrary to what society has believed. Addressing the media Tuesday, FATAZA General Secretary Chief Ishima Sankeni, the 6th of the Lunda people in Zambezi district, says all traditional leaders believe that there is Supreme God before them, hence partnering with overland missions in this event. He says traditional leaders are also of the firm belief that development in various chiefdoms can only be actualized with God as a pillar for development. Meanwhile, Overland Mission International Director of Operations Jacob Schweiz-Feiger says the event will see all traditional leaders in Zambia and about 35 African countries being represented. The King of King Gospel event, scheduled for October 2022, is organized by the Overland Mission. More in this report.
Many African countries view traditional leaders, and generally the aged, as sorcerers. This narrative has led to wrangles in various chiefdoms, especially during succession periods. To change the narrative, Overland Missions is hosting an event dubbed the King of Kings in Lusaka, which will see all traditional leaders in Zambia convene and worship and focusing on God. Addressing the media Tuesday, Forum for African Traditional Authority of Zambia General Secretary Chief Ishima Sanken, the 6th of the Lunda people of Zambezi district, says traditional leaders acknowledge the hand of God in all aspects of their work and boundaries.
Chiefs, I think society has put a terrible tag against us, that when they look at us and our palaces, they think that the chiefs are sorcerers, the chiefs are wizards. We're not educated, we're uncivilized, we're traveled. So we would want to dispel that notion. And this is why we have partnered with Overland Mission, which is a Christian-based organization. This Kings of Kings celebration is going to be a test case where you are going to see all the traditional leaders to come and celebrate, to come and exalt Jesus as the King of Kings, because as kings, we have also our master kings. And as Father, our objective is to make sure that we empower and take development to all the chiefdoms of Zambia. We feel and we believe that development can only come to fruition in our rural communities if we will put God first.
And Overland Missions International Director of Operations, Jacob, says the event will also be attended by over 35 countries in Africa.
We want to really be a unifier to the body of Christ, and our work in the remote areas has really put us time and again at the palaces. And in that proximity, we have developed very strong, very deep relationships with the traditional leaders, particularly here in Zambia.
Worshippers like Rachel Nanyangwe and Ephraim Mutalange were also present at the briefing.
What is so great about this event is that kings and queens are coming to bow down before the King of Kings. And for me, as a gospel artist and minister of gospel music, it's very, very profound because you're given this opportunity to lead people in the presence of God. And that's just not leading them in the presence of God. My prayer is that God Himself will move in these 2 days that we'll be meeting, and that hearts of men shall be transformed, and that we shall see change in the lives of people. We shall see transformation.
Looking forward to this event because I know God is going to move in a mighty way. We've been praying and God has been giving us songs that we just worship God together with the kings and the chiefs.
Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Authorities have dispelled reports circulating that the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development, Garin Kombo, is involved in corruption in the purchase of 156 Toyota Land Cruisers hard body motor vehicles for constituencies using the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development Permanent Secretary Administration Mambo Hamaundu therefore has clarified that the purchase of 156 Toyota Land Cruisers amounting to $8,313,084 United States dollars is in accordance with the guidelines of the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. He says CDF guidelines provide for the procurement of brand new 4x4 motor vehicles from the allocation for community projects to be strictly used for CDF activities. Mr. Hamaundu stated that the ministry opted to direct bid Toyota Zambia Limited in line with the Public Procurement Act number 8 of 2022, Section 34, Cap A, because of the selected model of the vehicle. The selection of the vehicles, whose unit price amounts to $53,289.10 each, was arrived at because of their versatility and durability.
We are pressured to ensure that we finish the 25.7 million because there's fear that the resource might be taken away by Treasury. That fear is unfounded because Treasury has actually indicated that by the end of 2022, if there will be any resources which will remain unutilized, they will still be available to each and every constituency for the purposes of completion of projects or other projects which have already been lined up. And I've indicated before to say that we have actually been working very closely with all the constituencies, and majority of them have already committed all the resources. The entire 25.7 has been committed towards utilization, and all that remains is actually just implementing. And also to state that in terms of budgeting, the vehicles were budgeted for by virtue of the fact that Parliament appropriated or approved a budget of in excess of 4 billion towards CDF. So the issue of the vehicles not being budgeted for is really neither here nor there. And that is the position of the ministry. So there's nothing dubious about it. It is a clear purchase, and these vehicles are public assets. They will belong to the people of the Republic of Zambia, and they will be the ones who've been given the responsibility to manage these vehicles are the 116 local authorities.
Finance and National Planning Minister Situmbeko Msokotwane has urged players in the mining sector to pay attention to the new tax measures that government will introduce in the 2023 national budget. Dr. Msokotwane says the 2023 national budget will be presented to Parliament on Friday, 30th September 2022. The Finance Minister says the new tax measures remain a secret until a new budget is unveiled. Dr. Msokotwane says government wants to continue hearing suggestions from the mining experts in order to guide government on how to raise and spend resources.
But there are also issues of tax nature, which is in the preserve of the Treasury. So our attitude is that we are ready to listen. That trust that you spoke about, our doors are open. We want to hear the suggestions from the industry. We have to hear the suggestions from you, the experts, especially you, the experts, because the industry people may say, of course, they are only taking care of their interests. But people like you, who have the knowledge to compare what is happening in Australia, what's happening in Canada, what's happening next door in DRC, I think you can play a very important role in terms of guiding all of us, those of us in government, those of us who are in society, those of us in industry, to say where do we stand with respect to the mining taxation. As for the rest, it remains our secret in our hearts about what we are going to do in terms of taxation for 2023. I can therefore only urge you to pay attention on the 30th of September and see what we are going to propose.
A concerned citizen, Njoya Tembo, has lamented the creation of ditches in the Borderview Chalala community along Ring Road through illegal stone quarrying, stating that these ditches have also become spots for indiscriminate waste disposal. Speaking to Camnet News Tuesday, Mr. Tembo, who is also chairman of the New Woodlands Extension Neighborhood Association, notes that dump sites around the area are filled with scavengers who also move aimlessly in the community, posing a risk of theft. Meanwhile, LUSAKA City Council Public Relations Manager Chola Mwamba says the council is putting up strict measures to permanently curb such vices. More in this report.
For one who is unfamiliar with this place, mega ditches such as this one right in the neighborhood of Borderview Chalala area along Ring Road in Lusaka could lead to a dangerous fall, especially at night, as one does not expect to find a ditch such as this one right in the community. According to a concerned citizen, Njoya Tembo, this has been caused by illegal stone quarrying in the area, adding that many are now using the ditch for indiscriminate waste disposal, as well as the area under ZESCO pylons. Mr. Tembo, who's also chairman of the Woodlands Extension Neighborhood Association, knows that the situation could lead to a fire hazard due to the place being located under ZESCO poles, stating that many are in the habit of burning the waste.
So they come when everyone is sleeping. In the morning, this garbage is still growing, and yet it's an illegal dump site. We have our Republican president, His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema, who's always using this route, going for work, coming at lunch, going in the evening. And imagine the site we are giving here. A lot of scavengers that are found here are literally spending the entire day here doing nothing, and some of them we have come to conclude that they come here to just spy on homes, because if you compare the crime rate, not even the churches in the neighborhood have been spared. We have a Christ Mission here. It's been broken into like 2-3 times. We have a manual fellowship just a few meters from here. Also, they've experienced thefts of their musical equipment. Homes have also been not been spared.
The place has also become a booming business place for waste scavengers who have even set up camp and put up pit latrines, stating that business is booming.
So a day ngana bomba bwino ndashita spend limbia 800-1000 iyo njingisha mukoda katundu ngoda. Then profit okay pe wiki ngana isa mukushitisha liminda odani mina odana ngwifa 7,000-8,000 then inapakisa mukushitanda 11,000-12,000 ngaya enda buno firafini ngatende buno wale mbwala isa 9,000 something 10,000 firafini.
Meanwhile, Camnet News also spoke to Lusaka City Council Public Relations Manager Chola Mwamba.
Some residents have the tendency of dumping waste illegally and are adamant to subscribe to solid waste management companies contracted by the council. The level of illegal piling up of waste and mass littering in the central business district, Kamwala trading area, and other parts of the city is mainly as a result of irresponsible behavior of disposing waste in undesignated places. We are aware that people are using the night to do illegal activities such as dumping of waste in undesignated places. The local authority would not entertain such behavior.
She has further warned those caught in the act of disposing waste indiscriminately of necessary action. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
A 22-year-old housewife of Malumale village in Chikankata district has been detained by police in Mazabuka for dumping her newly born baby boy in a pit latrine. Kubangu Kandanda is said to have delivered a baby boy on the 18th of September 2022 around 01 hours in the morning in a banana field near her house and did not inform her husband Namushi Namangolwa, a cane cutter at Delta Farms. According to Mazabuka police officer commanding James Mulua, Mr. Namangolwa, aged 27, denied being responsible for his wife's pregnancy. Mr. Mulua said on the day of the incident, Mr. Namangolwa woke up but did not find his wife on her side of the bed and he went searching for her. Mr. Namangolwa then found Miss Kandanda outside by the toilet door and he heard a baby crying from inside the toilet. He then asked his neighbors to help him break the pit latrine cover so he could retrieve the baby. The baby was then rushed to Neganega Rural Health Post around 04 hours, where maggots and other wastes were removed from his body. The baby weighed 3.8 kilograms and is said to be stable and has been admitted for further observation. Ms. Kandanda is currently in police custody, waiting to be formally charged for attempted murder. This is Camnet Television News. We take our first commercial break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes, and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
For immediate coverage
coverage of any breaking or latest news in Zambia and around the world on Camnet television, call the numbers on your screen. Camnet television, bringing to your screens fair news, impartial news, credible and reliable news all the time. Get the whole truth on Camnet World News. Camnet Television, not just another channel.
We continue with the news. National Action for Quality Education, NAKES, has commended the United Party for National Development, UPND government, for launching the curriculum review, saying it is walking the talk. NAKES Executive Director Aaron Chansa says the curriculum review launch comes at the right time when majority Zambians have called for a better national education system. He adds that the launch has also come a day when President Hakainde Hichilema informed the international community that government will reform the national policy and the school curriculum. The launch of the curriculum review was done by the Ministry of Education.
Bright day for education. It's a bright day for this country, where teachers, stakeholders, parents, chiefs, clergymen have actually been given space to actually submit views of how they would want the education sector to be. A lot of Zambians have complained that our system of education is not promoting innovation, it's not promoting entrepreneurship, it's too theoretical. There are so many subjects in our system, and we think that this is a period that has been given to all Zambians to make sure that they input into the new curriculum. And this is the reason why we are calling upon all citizens of this country to take interest in reading the current curriculum so that they see what has not worked, what has worked, and so that they can be able to input into the new curriculum. So we want to commend the government for actually fulfilling this promise, and we hope that this process is going to be as consultative as it has.
Commuter Magazine team leader Liswaniso Mwanalushi has called for more sensitization among drivers on the negative effects of overspeeding, stating that this has been the major cause of most road traffic accidents in the country. Commenting on the RTA that claimed 23 lives in Kaputa district of Northern Province in the early hours of Monday, Mr. Mwanalushi says there is also need for agencies such as the Road Transport and Safety Agency RTSA to enhance road monitoring, especially at night, as this is the time that most road regulations are abrogated. He has further urged commuters to speak up when drivers are not abiding by set road rules so that they can save their lives. The Zambia police indicates that the church members were heading to Nsumbu from a church program in NSAMA district when the driver of the Mitsubishi Canter vehicle with 50 people on board, all who are members of the United Church of Zambia UCZ, lost control after failing to negotiate a curve due to excessive speed and overturning in the process, leading to multiple deaths.
The accident is unfortunate because we have a ban on night travel still in force, so it spoke volumes for the church to disregard the issue of traveling at night. It would have been, for me, it would have been an avoidable accident. But going forward, we are appealing to all motorists, all transport departments, all organizations and individuals involved in the driving of vehicles or management of vehicles to adhere to the guidelines given that at night these vehicles which are carrying many people should not travel. And then the church also should have done better, should have booked a bus for our mothers to travel comfortable. It's not nice using lorries to ferry people. We are not meant for such, for ferrying people, but goods. So it's unfortunate, and going forward, we appeal to the RATSA, the Road Transport and Safety Agency, the Zambia Police Traffic Department, to scale up their presence on the roads so that such issues are minimized.
Chainama Hills Training Hospital says it is in the process of rebranding by decentralizing its mental health care services by taking it to communities. The hospital's public relations manager, Dr. George Tafuna, says despite the spike in people seeking mental health care, the facility has continued to be shunned. It is for this reason that the facility is being rebranded and that the publication of mental health guidelines are being finalized. More in this report.
Chainama Hills Training Hospital needs urgent rebranding from its state of its buildings to mental health related issues. Just the word Chainama is covered in myths and misconceptions, and government needs to fund the institution urgently as issues of mental health care are also a priority in this fast-paced era. Every year since 2013, the World Health Organization has organized a global campaign for World Health Mental Day. It's slated for October 10, 2022. A visit at the hospital had its public relations manager weigh in on the campaign.
This should be a day that each and every person should look at themselves positively and try to analyze the factors that make them have a breakdown in their life.
However, Dr. Tafuna has expressed concern over the facility being shunned by members of the general public.
People are not seeking mental health services because they think anytime they come to seek mental health services, they are ill. But mental health is like any other illness that people are exposed to. So people should be welcome to come and have their mental health care service from Chainama and any other services that take place in other sectors.
He cited a number of causes of mental health related issues and men being at the center of it.
Others is trauma, others it's exposure, others it's because of genetic issues they may have mental health problems. So we should not look upon people with mental health problems because anytime I can be one of the victims who may suffer mental health problems. And the public should know that mental health, mental illness is real. However, with the socio-economic issues, you find that most of the people, more especially males, they tend to go to take alcohol because of the frustrations of the world, because of the occurrences, because they don't have resources to manage their own homes. And such frustrations will take them to take alcohol.
Meanwhile, he is hopeful of a light at the end of the tunnel as the institution is in the process of rebranding.
Okay. So in such, we are trying to make mental health closer to the people. We are also creating community pressure groups. We are creating friendly corners in the communities such that the communities will start diagnosing mental health. They will be able to refer mental health cases to the nearest clinic easily.
Tito Kalama, Camnet News.
The Council of Churches in Zambia has underscored the need to address the lacunas in the Constitution to curtail unnecessary by-elections and uncertainty in the delivery of justice in the country. CCZ General Secretary Father Emmanuel Chikoya notes that huge costs associated with holding by-elections, if reduced, can go a long way in directing resources to needy areas of the economy. He regrets that the people of Kwacha and Kawushi constituencies will remain without representation in Parliament, adding that the move is delaying development. And Father Chikoya has called for the quick appointment of a chief electoral officer and a chairperson at the Electoral Commission of Zambia ECZ to ensure smooth operations at the commission. He says that it is unacceptable for by-elections to be running without these two critical positions at the Commission, saying the move undermines the effectiveness of the electoral body.
We commend the judiciary for having dispensed justice without fear or favor in the recent past. CCZ notes that having a biased application of the law is a recipe for lawlessness and should not be encouraged. CCZ is therefore calling on relevant authorities in charge of making constitutional amendments to do so in order to put an end to unnecessary by-elections that pose a huge cost on government coffers. CCZ is cognizant of the fact that the delay in holding by-elections will mean the two constituencies, KABWE and Kwacha, will not have parliamentary representation and consequently will delay service provision to the people. Political players should therefore also check their conscience and realize that those they are called to serve should not be victims of their political battles. Additionally, there is need for the Electoral Commission of Zambia to be very professional and do due diligence as they discharge their duties to avoid wastage of resources such as the money spent on printing ballot papers for KABWE and Kwacha that will have to be redone. The ECZ must offer the right guidance in situations of electoral uncertainty rather than appear to be part of the problem. In the same vein, CCZ wishes to call for the urgent address of the vacancies of the Chief Electoral Officer and Commissioners at ECZ.
This is Camnet Television News. We take our second and final break. We'll be back with international and sports news. Stay tuned.
In our quest to save nations and develop Africa, Savenda is investing in the agriculture sector so as to produce supply for both local and international markets, housing over 12,000 pullets that are nurtured and fed with our locally made stock feed that comes from our own locally grown maize and soya beans, all processed from our recently installed milling and mixing plant. Our over 95,000 layers have an output capacity of over 1,500 trays of fresh eggs per day that are carefully selected and packaged for all the leading stores and supermarkets nationwide. Our greenhouses are fitted with the latest irrigation system, and the seedlings are nurtured to ensure only healthy plants reach the fields. With our deliberate planting schedule, we are better placed to supply constantly without interruption, thus reliable. Savenda Farms is also changing lives of its dedicated workforce drawn from the local community and beyond. So the next time you think fresh and green, think Savenda Farms.
What began as a small vision, today it's become a big vision.
Camnet TV 10/6. As we celebrate this day, we say thank you to our viewers and clients for the support and making sure Camnet TV is your #1 station. A new chapter has started as we give you nothing but the best in our programming and reliable news Camnet TV offers through our dedicated management and staff members.
When God is within us, there's nothing that we cannot do.
Happy 60th anniversary. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
And now in international news, hundreds of people have protested in Niger, fed up with the French troops stationed in the country and the rising cost of living. Niger this year became a hub for Western forces to tackle insecurity in the Sahel region. As part of the package, Niger received aid from France, but some residents say it has not brought them any economic benefit. In other international news, Equatorial Guinea abolished the death penalty. State television announced Monday, citing a new law signed by President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo. The president's son, who serves as one of the country's vice presidents, lauded the move he called historic on Twitter. For more international news, here's a roundup.
Equatorial Guinea abolished the death penalty, state television announced Monday, citing a new law signed by President Teodoro Obiang Nguema Mbasogo.
The president's son, who serves as the country's vice president, lauded the move he called historic on Twitter. The last official execution in the oil-rich Central African nation was carried out in 2014, according to Amnesty International. But international NGOs and the United Nations regularly accuse the regime of forced disappearances, arbitrary detention and torture. The law will come into force in the 90 days following its publication in the official state journal. In advance, it was approved by a parliament almost exclusively dominated by the ruling party. The country follows the Central African Republic, which banned capital punishment in May. Other African countries, which did the same move in recent years, are Sierra Leone last year and Chad in 2020. Zambian president asked parliament to consider removing death penalty from the laws of the land earlier this year.
Hundreds rolled into Niger's capital with a list of demands for the government. They say the cost of living is too high, a knock-on effect of a recent fuel price increase and higher prices of basic commodities.
This time we have decided to speak out. Even if we're going to be killed, we have decided to say what is in our hearts and what upsets us.
Many participants say they don't feel safe and want French troops to withdraw.
It's an open secret that France plays an active role in the development and maintenance of terrorism.
About 3,000 French soldiers are deployed across the Sahel as part of a counter-terrorism operation. The president of Niger has welcomed the support in efforts to keep the region stable. But in August, the last French troops pulled out of neighboring Mali after relations between Bamako and Paris deteriorated. And now, anti-French sentiment is growing here, too.
How many times has France killed us and looted from us? Our gold, our uranium, everything that belongs to Niger. France has got its hands on it. We do not accept this anymore. France has brought us nothing good.
Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso have struggled to contain armed groups linked to Al-Qaeda, ISIL, and Boko Haram. Their attacks have killed hundreds of people, displaced millions, and made large swaths of territory in the western Sahel ungovernable. But these people believe the French soldiers have failed, and it is up to Nigerians to defend themselves.
A country cannot develop without sovereignty. We are obliged to fight for our children and grandchildren. And I think that today is the starting point. And I take this opportunity to ask Nigerians to get behind this movement so that Niger can free itself.
Niger gained its independence from France in 1960, but hundreds of people here believe the country is still not their own.
It's now time for sports news. And in sports news, South Africa-based Chipolopolo stars Roderick KABWE and Tostan Sabata have linked up with their squad members at Bole International Airport in Ethiopia en route to Bamako. Zambia plays Mali on Friday in a FIFA A-grade international friendly match. The Chipolopolo will square off with the Eagles of Mali in back-to-back engagements that will see both teams field their strongest squads as part of preparations for the Ivory Coast 2023 to be played in January 2024 Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. Coach Aliosa Asanovic's assemblage comprises locally based players. To end Camnet television news, we'll take a look at stories making headlines once again. 4 surviving NSAMA accident victims arrive in Lusaka. Salama Park murder accused committed to the Lusaka High Court. Lusaka Water and Sanitation Company to increase water rationing with the onset of the hot season. In international news, Equatorial Guinea repeals the death penalty law. And in sports news, South Africa-based Chipolopolo stars KABWE and NSABATA link up with their squad members. We'll now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from Joel 2, verse 23. Rejoice in the Lord your God, for he has given you the autumn rains in righteousness. He sends you abundant showers, both autumn and spring rains as before. Thank you once again for watching the news. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Have a good night.